welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 38. As always, I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
What's up?
And my best friend, Jake.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Tonight...
Ooh, you said that weird.
Sure did.
Well, here's the reason.
I don't like it.
Tonight, we are, it's our first, move as a podcast. We are recording in a different room than what we ever recorded in before.
Ever.
It's always been our kitchen table, but now we're actually in my, quote, music room where there's my comic books and my Funko stuff and
if anything,
guitars.
you would consider it your office because this is where your desk and your computer are.
It is where my desk and it's where all my it's my collections room.
So you would call this an office?
I don't call it that.
Well, I have to say, it is extremely cozy.
It is cozier in here,
and
it's a small room.
I'm all for cozy at any point in time.
I will say though, we need to get better chairs if this is going to be where we do it from now on.
I'm totally fine with my.
Well,
what do you call this thing?
I really don't know.
It's a butterfly chair.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Like the butterfly effect.
Or
Kutcher.
butterfly kisses.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good room, except that it's just kind of secluded from the rest of the house, and it's also the room right next door to the dogs, but we do have the door shut, so hopefully they don't make any noise. We've always recorded upstairs in our kitchen because that's just the biggest area, but we are about to try to sell our house, so we needed the space upstairs to be reclaimed from the podcast.
I needed the kitchen and I needed the table.
Yeah, it may sound a little different in this room than where we previously were because it was a more open room with no close walls or anything. This is definitely, it's probably 12 feet by 8 feet? I don't know. It's not huge.
Well, though it may sound different, I'm more a guy that's about feel.
It does feel better
than sound. And I feel good in here.
Well, podcasts are mainly about sound, not feel.
Well, not this one. We are about feel.
Yeah, but we had to move it, and it may just be for a couple weeks. We'll see. If we move it to the house we think we're going to move into, we're going to have a dedicated room. We'll have all that set up. We may even look into things as far as live streams, things like that. We've got some ideas.
Hey, don't get the listeners excited now. Don't. What is it? Don't write your checks that your mouth can't cash.
Don't put the cart before the horse.
There's something about a cashing and a mouth.
Don't write checks
your mouth can't cash.
No, don't let your mouth write checks your butt can't cash.
That's one.
What it is.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Speaking of mouth,
I thought you were going to say speaking of butts, and I know what you're wanting to talk about, but it has nothing to do with butts.
We have to address it though.
So
because I had no idea this was a thing.
This is not challenge related. We'll get into the challenge in the next couple minutes, but Jake comes over, and we usually all eat dinner right before we watch the challenge, and again, we're moving, so we got rid of our big couch, so we're on a smaller couch. There wasn't a lot of room for us to eat and have our notes and laptops and all that. And so we just decided to eat and watch a YouTube video. And there's a YouTube channel I'm subscribed to called PayMoneyWubby. And he had a video that Jake wasn't aware of. He had a video on the subject of kids doing ASMR on YouTube and how kind of weird it is.
Kind of weird.
Well, Jake didn't know what ASMR was.
Never heard of it. Kind of like ghosting, which Shane introduced me to. I think he mentioned it on when we interviewed him. I had no idea what ghosting was. I'm way out of touch.
I don't remember that.
I think you're just old.
I'm getting there.
I'm older than you, and I knew what it was. But yeah, I'd seen ASMR videos. I don't understand it, if I'm being totally honest, but it's a big thing. And this video from PayMoneyWubby, it's just him showing how creepy and weird kids doing ASMR is, and how it's really exploitive. I don't know. Explicative. That the mom. Exploitative is probably correct.
No, it is correct.
It's how the mom lets the daughter do this when she knows that there's creepy people out there watching it.
I'm not a judgmental guy, all right? You know, I'm totally open to what you may be into, your lifestyle, whatever.
With kids?
No, hold on a second. Let me finish my thought, because you can stop it right there and just pull it and make it whatever you want. But that's not what I'm getting at. Is like, if you are in any way, shape, or form into this thing, ASMR, kids or no kids, I gotta be honest with you, you're a weird individual, man.
I don't understand it personally.
Weird individual.
Just ASMR in general?
In general.
Oh no, I get it.
I don't.
But
I
there
don't get
there
it.
are different branches of it. There is eating ASMR, it's very off-putting.
It's disgusting.
It grosses me out so bad.
Was she eating a honeycomb? Is that what she was eating?
Yeah, and then Taco Bell.
God.
Well, there are some that will just sit and eat a whole jar of dill pickles, and that's just what they do. There's the whispering and clicking noises, ASMR, but there's also soap cutting ASMR, and
That's more a visual thing.
But
though.
for me, that's included in it.
Well,
that's my thing, and it's not. It's got to be special soap. It cannot be the chalky hard bar of soap. It has to be the gel soap.
So when you say that's your thing, you're into this.
Only gel soap cutting ASMR. That's the only thing that I like of it.
Do you know what ASMR means? I didn't know what it meant.
I was about to ask you what it meant.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
No.
That's not what it means.
It's when you watch this and you get like a feeling inside you. That's how you know.
Really honest with you, Han. That is weird. You are weird.
I love it.
You
and
are
it
weird.
Only gel bar soap.
You are a weird dude.
Because they take box cutters and it cuts really smooth and it stays in one piece, and sometimes it'll curl up. And then when they let it, if they're holding the bar high up enough off of the table, when it hits the table, it makes a little thud sound.
I don't like the thing. Basically, the premise behind it is you take your mics, you turn the gain up all the way, you turn everything up as loud as it'll go, and then you whisper because you want people to listen to it at full volume.
And then you go.
See, I don't like
I know
that.
it's so gross.
I hate the sound of like chewing or eating. That's why I don't sit very close to Zach when he eats, because it's the only thing keeping me from murdering him.
How do you feel about mouth breathers?
What do you mean?
Everyone always
that didn't bother me so much, but sometimes Zach will like be really concentrating on something really hard and he goes.
I do not do that.
He breathes hard and loud when he's concentrating on something.
Hard and loud.
Listen, I'll just turn to him like out of nowhere. I'll be like, "Why are you breathing so hard?" And he's like, "I'm not."
Because I'm not.
But he is.
No.
All right. Well, just at different points throughout the pod, I'm just going to throw in an occasional.
I don't want you to do that.
I don't like that.
So you got a little tease for the people tonight.
Yeah. So we have some big things we're planning soon.
Amen.
We've talked about certain like launches and stuff in the future and like expanding what we do. So we're gonna have some new things coming up in the future and just new avenues and things that we do. One thing, we've been able to do ads for a long time. We just have not done it because we wanted to. We wanted to make sure what we do was good enough to justify ads and things like that. But we still have put it off. That's kind of up in the air at this point. It would be nice to be able to recoup just even our like hosting fees, and we're going to launch a website soon. The website fees, the program we used to record with our guests costs money. It's basically all it's been out of pocket at this point. So we may honestly start launching ads soon. They're not going to be the random pre-rolls though that we don't know what's going to come up. But that may be something we look into. And one thing I did do was I launched this on Spotify, but for some reason Spotify only accepts MP3s and iTunes wants M4As, and so I got to redo all that. So that's going to be coming up soon. So look for us on Spotify. You'll see us announce it on our social media. If you don't already follow us on social media, at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram, search for us on Facebook, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com. By the way, Paul, we read both of your emails, just haven't got back to you yet. That's my fault.
I feel like Paul has earned immediate email back.
I know.
rights.
This is a real busy time for us, and so yeah, that's one thing. But the tease that's gonna be I'll leave you with is fresh meat, free agents, bloodlines.
God.
That's what it is. If you can decipher what that's going to mean, it's not as obvious as what you think it is, but
Be watching for an announce.
Soon-ish.
We're starting up our own MTV channel affiliate, and we're going to be casting our own celebrities or subpar athletes and starting our own challenge show so that we can have the seasons that we want.
And our first signee, Shailene.
Nope.
What's she going to be? She has nothing
We're going to
else
celebrate
do.
her birthday the right way. Is what we're going to do.
I don't want her on our new show.
She has
that
nothing else to do.
we're producing.
So yeah, let's get into tonight. One thing up top before we really hit the actual show, we watch on DirecTV, and apparently DirecTV is having a dispute with Viacom, and they're threatening to pull like 23 channels, which include MTV and Comedy Central and whatever.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, if Viacom and DirecTV don't work out a deal, I will absolutely be canceling DirecTV because we have to watch this show. We have to watch it, and so I'm gonna have to get something else that will play MTV. So, if anyone from DirecTV is listening,
Tell them.
don't cancel those shows.
That's right.
But yeah, I was sick of that tonight because it was at the top of the screen, then at the bottom, then at the top, then at the bottom, then off
And
to
then
the
on the
side.
side.
Yeah.
Or else we will smash your head and eat it.
Yeah, I'll do that to DirecTV. Although I do like DirecTV, just in all honesty, other than their weird pricing and gouging and stuff like that.
Yeah, no hate over here.
Yeah, we like their services.
Well, so far.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into tonight. Obviously, we led off with Bear and Devon coming back from elimination. Bear's immediately kind of like provoking Wes, pushing at kind of trying to push his buttons. Wes has been doing this long enough. I don't really think that's going to bother him too much. He did at one point say he was a little scared just because the UK alliance is so strong. The first thing that I really kind of took note of was when they got back in the house, Bear went to go shake his hand, and then when Wes went for it, he pulled the
pullback on
It's
him.
the move you learn when you're 3 years old.
Yeah.
You know? And I think Bear has the mentality of a 3-year-old sometimes.
I love it.
I enjoy
him so much.
I really do. I don't agree with everything he does, but he is fun to watch.
But in order to enjoy someone, you don't necessarily have to agree with them.
No. I know where you're going with this, but
You always think is it possible
it's not.
that you think about this person more than I do?
No, I just
Who are we talking about here? Say his name.
Shaylee.
Oh. I
No.
probably think about her more than you do.
Probably.
How often do you think about her?
Because honestly, I forgot she was on this show until you said it.
I did too. I forgot about her.
I'm not talking about that on here.
So yeah, they did that. Bears clearly says he's gunning for Wes. He's got the arrogance behind him for sure.
With the finger guns.
Did he do him tonight?
I just every time he talks, I see it. I just see finger guns.
It's like the
air.
Boondock Saints.
Yeah,
Where they're like spreading around, the camera's spinning and all that.
yeah.
Except there's not two of them. They do have crazy accents though. Yeah, it's basically like Nani tries to break down. It's basically the U.S. versus the U.K. And she's like, hey, all of us on the U.S. side are like cannibalizing our alliances. Like we're picking each other off, and they're gonna have a free ride to the finals.
Real common sense stuff by her. Like
I don't agree with what she did to CT because she's part of the picking off
yeah,
the Americans, but it was smart because that British alliance, they're hanging together. Like it's gonna be tough to break them apart because they've got people that like Cam, for example, who are U.S. based, but at the same point, she's gonna side with Theo and Ashley. So I mean, it's not just the UK kids that are on their team. And then you got an outlier like Kyle that wants everyone to know he is not part of the UK alliance. I think at one point he said he hates England even though he lives there. How do you feel about that?
you know, I see Kyle as a man of his word. You know, he's kind of in the same vein as a Hulkamania. His word is his bond. Is that a fair assessment? Maybe not. Maybe it's not.
I don't know. I mean, he, I was about to say he probably lied about a bunch of stuff, but I don't know if he lied like with the car situation or he just disappeared. That's not lying when you disappear.
Here's the thing: we're watching a reality TV show. There's probably a lot of lies.
Oh yeah, again, Bear's favorite pastime we heard last week was that.
Right.
So, yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that Kyle's known for all these like British shows and whatever. I wonder if he's gonna get some kickback because what he said about England, because he still lives there. I mean, he's still doing shows over there. I assume. I don't know. I know that all the other ones like Kaylee, who are on this season, like Kaylee and Josh and all that, like they're still doing shows in the UK. Josh, yeah. I've got Josh on my mind because we just watched him. Speaking of those guys, one of their castmates from the X on the Beach UK show apparently just killed himself this week, and they're canceling the whole season of the show that he was supposed to be on with them. Like X on the Beach UK, like this next season, which Josh and Kaylee and them were all going to be on, is not apparently going to air anymore. I may have got that wrong, but I saw it on Reddit earlier, and they're pushing for, I think that MTV is going to be a lot more proactive about the mental health of the people on their shows.
I think that's probably a good idea.
I think
they should implement that into the challenge.
I think it's a great idea.
Even Wes kind of hit on that.
Yes.
During our interview with him.
Yeah, if you haven't, well, again, I doubt anyone who's listening to this has not listened to the Wes interviews, but he said, basically, MTV lets you decide if you need help or not. They're not going to ask you or push you to it, and they're not going to give you a break unless you say you want a break.
Which is a lot of times not the best approach with someone who has mental health issues.
No, and I think as a just a society in general, we're all becoming more aware of the like toll stuff has on people, just stress related and whatnot, and some of the most happy seeming people in the world are usually the ones who end up like, killing themselves, which is obviously not what people expect, but you never know what anyone's going through. So if you are someone out there who's struggling, not just MTV related, get help. It's not a big deal. Like get yourself right. Talk to someone, even if it's your best friend, your mom, or someone like professional. There's all kinds of hotlines out there. And speaking to that, I this is what kills me about certain fan bases, where they just go after people incessantly because they don't know what these people are going through. I mean, people kind of kill people they don't like, cast members they don't like on Twitter and whatever, like very personal attacks, very whatever, and like,
and then attack people that are associate themselves with said cast member.
Yeah, and like that's just. I was gonna say evil. I hope it's not that. I hope it's just misguided. I would hope no one's out there like actively trying to, like, really tear someone's like mental fragility like to pieces or whatever. Like it's not a good look. I didn't mean to get on this subject. I just happened to think of it whenever.
No, but it's a real problem, and it's something that can't continue to go unnoticed. Like we have to, like, as a people, man, like we got to go about this differently. Just how we approach people. Like we've said on here hundreds of times now, probably, like, people act the way they do for a reason, and I think it's time for us to just be more sensitive, more open to the fact that, I mean, people are sick sometimes, man, and we have to be open to what people are going through and willing to love them in the midst of it. Now I'm getting deep. Now you're doing it to me. I'm just going now.
Well, I'm not talking about even getting on that level. It's just like, listen, we're seeing like an edited version of these people. Like I think I probably am a little bit more sympathetic to it because we have interviewed and like talked with people who have gotten a lot of hate from social media. Shane, Marie has, Devin has.
Well, I think what I've experienced firsthand is we're so quick to like write people off as crazy or like dumb or whatever word you want to use there, when the fact of the matter is like, man, these people are just hurting.
Well, and we're seeing like a very, very, very edited down version of what actually happened on everything.
Yeah.
And so, like, I never, like, there's, again, we've talked about, there's people on this show that I do not like very clearly, but I would never go out of my way to like personally attack them, like at them and whatever. Like, that gets into another thing. Like, don't at our personal accounts when you're like trying to attack or cause trouble with someone on the cast. Like, we don't want to get into all that. Like, we try to be a positive force around this show because there's a lot of negativity. So like we don't want to be involved in fights and debating on if this person sucks or not. Like, we may say things on the show about how we feel about what we saw, but we're not trying to like go after them when they're at home.
I'll leave it at this. Before you post whatever you're going to post, ask yourself, what am I using my platform for?
I was gonna say, do you want it said to you? Would
Do you want
that?
to say that's good
Yeah.
too? That's good too. That may be better.
Yeah, like, would you want to read this like when you're at home and it's about something that happened like 3 months ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess again, we've met Shane and Marie and Devin and Brandon Nelson, who's not really involved in this, and just a lot of people who, even Cam's getting hate about stuff, and like, I just don't get it. Like, leave them alone.
That's it right there. What you just said. Leave them alone.
Again, they're doing this for our entertainment. Let's not make it personal with them. So, anyway, I don't want to get off that.
Let's talk about the womanly touch.
I was about to get into Josh's weird flirting.
Yeah. I gotta say, man, I feel for the guy. And you just you go after someone and you
Is this at all affected by your
no
personal situation?
No, it's much different situation. Much different situation. But at the same time, man, there's nothing worse than expressing your feelings, expressing your desire to be with said individual, and there's no reciprocation.
I do think he genuinely likes Amanda, and he was trying to like play it off as like, I'll kiss you.
Well, the thing is, from what we've seen, his initial flirt was a quote, "It doesn't benefit me to give other girls good stuff when I could just give you good stuff."
And she was like, "Ooh, that's disgusting."
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear when you're putting a move on.
But that's not a good way to start.
It's an interesting way to build your team dynamic through sexual tension.
Well, Kyle and Maddie are doing it.
Yeah, but they both kind of like each other.
Yeah, I don't think Amanda's at all into Josh.
Not even one bit. Which
She said the worst thing that you can say if you're like, so if you're trying to get with a girl and she tells one of her friends, "Oh, he's just like my brother." Like, she said that on air to however many millions of people are watching this show. Like, that was her confessional after she had time to like think about it.
Yeah, that watching that was high school for me all over again. I'll be honest with you. That was
everybody thought of you as their brother.
Like their little brother. You know, like that.
So
annoying, weird
not
little
even
kid.
the big brother.
No, just the annoying weird kid.
Yeah, I mean, I sympathize with that. I mean, we all had like weird crushes where you were never going to get out of that like brother friend zone-ish stage.
Yeah.
Really? Is that what it was like?
Huh?
Is that what it felt like?
I mean, we didn't say those things. But I mean, I think most guys probably had a girl that they were close with.
I had multiple.
Yeah, multiple.
Jake had every female alive.
For us, multiples, and yeah, I mean, it sucks because it's like a weird situation. Like, you don't want to ruin your friendships, but you're also like dying inside.
Yeah, and then you have a dream about them, and you just want to be with them even more, which I've addressed on here before. But you guys think that is like a foreign concept.
I don't remember talking about that.
Oh, we talked about it.
Okay. Well, we've done a lot of these now. I can't remember everything. But yeah, it's a thing. Like, I can see where you're coming from on that, but the way he was going about it was not good. Also, that situation is not the same. He's known her for what, maybe like 3 weeks at this point?
Maybe.
Well, he came on to her way too strong in a very awkward way. And she shut it down really quick. But throughout this episode, we see him try to bring it up again and again and again and again.
It reminded me of those like weird TLC videos where they'll have some like strangers like come in to kiss each other.
Oh, yeah, that one guy that's never had a kiss before.
Yeah. Do you know what we're talking about?
The girl comes in and she's like, "Are we going to do this or not?" And he's like, "Yeah."
And then he kisses her on the side of the cheek and then walks away, and it's the most awkward thing in the world.
Never says a word.
Yeah, stop that. Jake's doing his ASMR.
That's what it sounded like, though.
Yeah.
And then that girl was like, that's it. Seriously, like she was so offended.
And in the interview leading up to it, he's like, maybe we'll get into it and make out. Like it's so weird, but I think it may have been called like Love at First Kiss. I may have just made that up completely. I don't remember honestly, but it was very awkward the way he went about it. It was weird, passive aggressive pickup lines, like you were saying, like, oh, I could give it to these other girls, but why would I do that? But she's not having it. Like she's just clearly like, gross, get out of here. He went in for a kiss. She moved away. I think he was joking, but I think if she would have moved back and like reciprocated that movement, like it would have happened.
Such a devil she is.
Yes, it's Satan incarnate apparently. But again, I didn't like Amanda when she came into this show. I get people still hate her. I don't hate her.
She has toned down so much since her first season when she and Nelson came in in the middle of that season. I did not like her one bit, but she was a little more bearable last season. And this season, it's not that bad.
She's just very stubborn. And so I get why people don't like her.
But so were a lot of other people on the show.
That's why her and Zach made horrible partners.
She and Zach.
It's fine.
Well, after seeing how much Josh really like legitimately liked her, he even threw out I think I'm in love with this girl, and she's like, ugh. But
I think that's when the interview happened where she said he's like my brother.
Regardless, Josh seems like such a nice guy. We haven't really he's a lot of talk. I think after his win on Big Brother, he thought that he would just dominate this show as well, which he hasn't. He hasn't shown us anything at all. But he just seems like such a nice guy, and for him to just fall head over heels for Amanda, like I thought she must not be that bad like in person for him to be like this.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, Josh almost didn't even make it on this show, if we're being honest. I will say I haven't listened to the Challenge Mania interview he did, but a lot of people were like, I really like this guy after listening to him. Like, I want to say people said it may have been like one of the top 5 interviews they've done.
Yeah. Well, it's just he's such a nice guy.
He was a big fan favorite from Big Brother.
Yeah, and so for someone so nice to like someone that is constantly called the devil, it just raises a few questions to me. Like, everybody talks about how evil she is and awful she is. I wonder what she's really like in person and not when the cameras are around.
I mean, she's a nurse in real life. Like, I would think you have to have at least some form of hospitality. Not whatever.
You have to have good bedside manners to get your license.
Yeah.
You're tested on that.
So, like, I think, and again, like Shane and all these other people, like, they love her outside of the show. I think she knows what she is, and she hates some people. That's her prerogative. They hate her back. Whatever.
I think she plays it up for the camera.
She might, but I mean,
a lot of people on this show do.
Yeah. Again, I would say more do than don't, because again, they're trying to. Some of them are legitimately just trying to fake fights to be on TV, which I don't think she's one of those, but because she gets enough camera time as it is, so. I think the weird Josh flirting vibe is what kind of carries through this whole episode. We kind of end with it as well, but we get into the daily, which is called Eye in the Sky, which initially when they previewed it, I thought it was just they were both blindfolded, and I was like, how are they going to do this? But they brought in a new twist, bringing some technology in it. The blindfolded one has the camera, and then the other person on the back has the VR headset, and they're trying to communicate with that. This seemed really hard, and I think it started off hard like what we were expecting. Like, both first teams failed, like they fell off. But then, like, everyone else killed it except for Cara and Theo. Like, I think every other team but Josh and Amanda, and then who was going with them? The first team. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. But literally everyone did really good, which surprised me a lot. I thought this was going to be one where maybe like
Kyle and Maddie.
That's what it was.
Yep.
I was going to say it seemed like one where I thought maybe 2 or 3 teams would finish. and then it was going to be whoever got the furthest might be the third one in the tribunal.
Despite the majority of the teams finishing, I still think it was an incredibly difficult challenge. But also the whole time I was thinking, I wonder what Wes is thinking seeing this, because he was on this show however many years ago when it first started, and they never would have had anything like this.
Well, not when they first started, but it was 2006. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, stuff like VR was not even thought of then.
Well, not to that. Not like where everyone's like got their own headset.
It's almost 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a good twist on like something we've seen similar things of before. But yeah, again, people are freaking out, and again, when Paulie and Ninja got through it right away, I was like, they're gonna be good, whatever. But then everyone killed it. From then on out, other than Carr and Theo, everyone killed it. And I got the biggest. Wes and D like knew immediately when they got done. They're like, "Oh, we won that!" Like we.
Well, they kind of fell onto the final platform, and Dee was like, like she was so glad to be done, like relieved,
Did she
but
say
also
she
scared.
didn't like heights? I think she did when we interviewed her.
I don't remember, but I know Wes, when his response to her making that noise was, "Yeah, we won."
Yeah, because they had already seen Paulie and them go, and Bear did his little like tippy toes stepping as he got through, which they did good too. But the biggest surprise has to be Gus and Jenna.
Yeah,
like that's the because they haven't done well in the dailies. Gus busted his teeth through his lip, during
That's
that
all it
other
took.
one, and then he ate all the sand in the last one.
Just took a busted mouth and some sand in the mouth. A lot of mouth action to get him going.
Gus has a lot of mouth action.
He impressed me because he pulled a smarty pants move. He counted the steps that they took off of the initial platform onto for the first leg before they made the first turn.
Yeah.
And so when they were on the last leg of it, he made sure that the number of steps they took matched the initial leg, so that they would know about how much further they had to go. And what was risky and funny was once they reached that number, they still weren't at the end yet, so he just jumped.
Well, he said they were falling, and he's like, we were going to fall either way, so we might as well jump forward. And it's smart. They got him in the top 3.
It did. It was impressive. Even TJ was impressed.
Yeah, I did make that note. Like, TJ does not typically say, "Oh, that really impressed me," but he did.
He literally said the words, "That impressed me."
I will say it's still strange that we're not getting times for these in the dailies.
Well, what got me was at the end, TJ was like, "Here's our 3 teams that made it into the tribunal in no particular order."
Well, I think he was trying to play it up to see between Gus and Jenna and Paulie and Davon, and we don't know. Again, I just wish we would see some form of times so we could know how close everything is. Were you going to say something?
I got to say, like, it's been well documented, right? Like, how much of a wrestling fan I am.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's been that way ever since I was a child. And there's no greater sign of a true heel than when you get the entire room rooting against you, shouting at you. And Bear, I am in particular partial to the heel type of individual. My dog is named after one of the greatest heels of all time, in my opinion, in Razor Ramon, who eventually became Scott Hall, who started the Outsiders and the Invasion angle in WCW.
Great.
This isn't going to mean anything to anyone that's not a wrestling fan from the 90s.
It does not mean a thing to me.
I knew all those references, but I didn't watch back then.
I enjoy watching. I don't know. It's a different sort of enjoyment with Bear. Because obviously I enjoy watching CT on my television. I enjoy watching Wes on my television. There's something about Bear where...
He's more of a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's to me, it's not that... Because you guys, right? You talk about Paulie and how just narcissistic he is.
It's different.
Stuff, right? It's different.
Bear has an accent.
It's not even that. It's
That's a lot of it.
Bear is he's almost like a caricature of like a heel. Like he is a self-aware like clown almost. Like Paulie thinks he's like the best person that's ever been on the show and is the face of the show from here on out. I think Bear is just like, I like having fun and being loud and annoying, and I'm gonna do that as much as possible.
He's great, man.
I do enjoy him.
I enjoy him so much.
Yeah. I mean, you said the whole house is cheering against him. To be fair, he started the yelling before
He did.
that. Yeah.
He did, but that's what I'm talking about. Is like,
and we all thought it was really funny.
yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Is like, he ain't got any care or concern about it.
No.
He doesn't. He's the guy holding the mic, cutting a promo. He's the heel. He's like the Miz, who I think is currently a babyface in WWE.
Okay.
Like, he's the guy calling out all these yahoos with the regular 9-to-5 jobs, and he's over here with all the money and all the girls and all the.
Is Yahoo's your word or the Miz's word?
That's my word.
Okay.
What's a yahoo? Do you not know?
Let me Google it real quick.
I don't want to Google.
I
it.
don't.
The one time I'm going to use my laptop for research is to figure out what a yahoo is.
Yeah.
If you
again,
don't know, why would you use it?
we all enjoy Bear, I think, from a TV side. He clearly does not care what anyone thinks about him, and he also, I think he probably feels like this is just another show that he's doing, which I've had problems with people like that, but he does compete.
He's at least funny.
Yeah.
According to Urban Dictionary, a yahoo is originally used to describe a certain tribe of wild individuals found in Kentucky mountain regions. Daniel Boone once described them as a race of wild, hairy giants, well known for bad behavior and violent or fiendish actions against early pioneer settlers. Terms now often used to describe an individual who displays bad or antisocial behavior.
Are you spelling it
Well,
Y-A-Y?
H-O-O.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't necessarily call someone that works a 9-to-5 a yahoo.
Well, here's the sentence they
Should be
use.
the opposite.
When the player threw the ball at the referee, he was acting like a yahoo.
Yeah, that sounds like the opposite.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, you're a yahoo. All right?
Did you think you made that word up?
I think a lot of things, hand.
I'm going to take that as a yes. You thought you made up this word.
It's this
No,
word.
I legitimately didn't know if that was like something the Miz does, is like when he does promos, like, I'm going to get all you yahoos out there.
I couldn't see him using
No,
that
he's
word.
got a kid now. He can't say that.
Yeah, that's explicit.
Okay.
Yeah, so top three, Wes and D, Bear and Davon, and then Gus and Jenna. Like we said, they surprised everyone. We get in the tribunal. Right off the gate, Gus and Jenna are like, we're going after Amanda and Josh because they tried to take out Zach. What's your problem?
You do this thing sometimes, right? you get your phrases intertwined.
What did I say that time?
You said right off the gate.
Did I?
It's either right out of the gate
Or right off the bat?
or right off
Yeah.
the bat. It's funny.
I didn't catch that one.
I think it's funny.
I usually can catch them and I'll just roll with them regardless, but I didn't catch that one. But anyway, they nominate Zach. I mean, not Zach, but you screwed me up now.
Josh and Amanda.
Josh and Amanda. Because again, there's already bad blood there between them. Amanda and Zach obviously had problems all last season, so that kind of carries over to Jenna and her bomb, Amanda's bomb she was going to drop. And then it comes down to Bear and Davon, and Davon says she's not budging, Bear says he's not budging, and he wants to vote on Paulie and Ninja because he says, I don't want to face him in a final. She doesn't want to do that. And who'd she say they were going to nominate? I forgot because he got so loud about Paulie and Natalie. I mean, Paulie and, what is Natalie? But Ninja.
Oh, man.
I didn't write it down. I usually try to write that type of stuff down. Regardless, in the middle of them arguing, Wes just kind of walks over and grabs Ashley and Cam and throws it on the table. And so she, Davon is holding her ground because she's like, basically, I'm not going to vote for any of the Big Brother people, which we knew that was an alliance. So she's not going to vote for Josh and Amanda. She's not going to vote for Paulie. and Ninja, and then Bear says he's not voting for any of the UK people, obviously, and so Davon starts crying. She's very emotional. She doesn't want to vote her friends in. Bear does not care. He's just going as loud. He said at one point, "I'm a big baby. I'm going to cry as loud as I can to get my way." He's at least embracing it. He knows what he is.
He's self-aware.
Yeah.
What got me was Davon fought tooth and nail to save Polly from nomination, but I think if it came down to it, I don't think Polly would go that far to save Davon. Honestly, I don't think he would try that hard.
I think on a face level, he would try to protect the Big Brother alliance, but I don't know if he would fight to the point of almost tears, I think if Ninja really wanted to throw in Davon and Bear, he'd be like, okay, whatever. Because again, his game is him being the new face of the show and Cara being the female face, and that's all he wants. And so whatever's going to further that along, why not? And so I whenever they cut to it, Bear walks out of the tribunal room or whatever, not tribunal, but just the nominations, and he just announces to the whole group downstairs, that was intense. And then you see Davon walking down upset, and so you knew he got his way.
Here was my problem with Davon's approach to this is you playing it for your friend at that point. And I just, I've never done a challenge before, right? But I don't think you can play for your friends.
Yeah, I agree. It's, Bear,
I don't know that that's worked out ever, really.
Not unless you're
you're part of a big group team.
Or a group that's made a bunch of finals and
Right.
you have that backed up. If you're
But when there's one winner,
yeah.
this money ain't going to be split between three teams. There's one winning team,
yeah.
right?
And also, again, Bear's point is solid. So far in the dailies, Polly and Natalie have been the team to beat other than two of them. And so there's not a lot of chances where you have a chance to throw someone in that is a big threat, which, again, we talked about it early on. Johnny didn't do it with Wes early on. Wes did it as soon as he got the chance, and it worked out in his favor. You never know who's going to go home. You don't know what the eliminations are going to be. Again, it could be a weird one where you map out the countries and, Zahida, out of all people, is going to come through and be the one that helps win. So I think I agree with Bear. If you got the chance, take him out. Try it. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? Polly's got his alliance already. Davon and Bear are not part of his alliance. Now, he may say to Davon's face, whatever, but he's not trying anything to save Bear. I mean, it is what it is. So we get into, it comes down to Polly and Ninja, their vote. I mean, that's all it was. And so after that, is that when the night out happens?
Well, Muscle Ashley starts to see through Josh.
Yeah. Because Josh is saying, his whole thing is, I'm not scared, I'm ready to go in, whatever. And Ashley's point was, typically the people who talk the most about not being scared or terrified of something.
There is one thing, the when they were doing the tribunal meet or whatever with the people who had got voted in, and there's only one thing
that's probably the most uneventful tribunal thing we've had.
But the one thing I loved was the interaction between Wes and Ashley.
Yeah,
I felt like I needed some, going back to wrestling here, I needed some Limp Bizkit music in the back, because this was a WrestleMania promo happening before our eyes. Speaking of WrestleMania coming up here very soon, which we're going to have to get together for.
Okay.
Oh, great.
The funny thing was, Ashley immediately directed. I thought, honestly, Wes and Dee were using a burn vote, and they were using theirs as a burn vote before Polly and Davon. I mean, not Polly, but Bear and Davon could. And I didn't really think they were going after Cam and Ashley, honestly. I know it's part of the UK alliance, and Cam's tough, but I didn't see that being their play.
I thought he said it was a burn vote.
He did say it was.
He had a lot of twists tonight, but didn't follow all of them.
It was just weird because Ashley immediately like had his target on Wes when they came in that tribunal. That was the only memorable thing from the tribunal.
It's like a shark that smells blood.
Ashley's not a guy you want to mess with. Like I get, we obviously are fans of Wes. He's got the best elimination record out of anyone that's ever been on the show. But I mean, Ashley's a freaking huge guy, and like I thought it was funny when he said something and he's like, "You nervous?" And Wes was like, "Yeah, I am nervous." And like I don't know, it was just kind of, it was a little more hostile between them than I expected it to be.
I'll tell you another time Wes was nervous. When he came on the podcast and tried to run up against me.
Oh yeah, he was.
Okay.
We could hear him shaking.
He's shaking right now because he's listening. He knows.
He probably is. Honestly.
He knows.
But yeah, it was just a weird dynamic between them that I didn't expect. Because again, Wes said it was something like a burn vote, and so, it was just kind of strange. And then I think that's when the night out happened.
That's right. They went clubbing.
Yeah, not for Shailene's birthday. We talked about that all last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, immediately Kyle and Maddie are making out in the back of the bus. Nani and Hunter are making out on the bus. It's just it's a good happening time.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it is, you know.
Nothing better than a good makeout party, am I right?
Yeah, and a party?
I don't know about that phrasing.
You never been to a makeout party?
It makes it sound like you invite a bunch of people over to your house and then you all make out together in one large kiss.
I've never been to what you're like. If you're talking about like 90s, 80s sitcom level,
like there was an
like
episode
Spin the
of
Bottle?
Boy Meets World.
Yeah, where
they go in a closet.
Yeah, I know.
With the lights off, and you make out.
But Corey didn't.
Corey didn't because he's a respectable young man. But nonetheless, a makeout party.
Yeah, like I've never been to I never went to a party that was like that, like sitcom-y. Like I remember going to like birthday party stuff where people had made out, but not like a party where they're like, oh, the point of this is we're gonna play like make out games.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just wasn't hanging out with the right horny kids or what. I mean, I hung out with you most of the time.
Yeah, so you guys weren't invited, but Jake dreamt about it every night. Making out with all those girls that had him in the friend zone.
All right.
Hey, well, I'm with you. Solidarity.
We stand strong over here, representing the guys who couldn't get a lot of action.
Yeah, you say that like he's single.
I don't know what I am. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what I
am. Yeah. So anyway, they go out. It's not an eventful night out, other than like the main thing is Nani is like, hey, Jenna and Amanda need to reconcile. Nani's like, I'm a great judge of character. I think she's being honest. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot from the night out, except that when they come back, Josh and Ashley are getting tense.
Well, Ashley is just glazed over.
You
can see it.
He was in an inebriated state, it seemed, and he was not scared of Josh.
Well, I just want to clarify, though I don't know what I am. I do have my own someone.
We all know. Everyone knows.
Well, I just don't know.
Literally everyone that listens to this knows.
We had the biggest name that's ever been on our podcast spend 30 minutes talking to you about all this.
All right. Well, I just wanted to clarify that I'm a man of my word. I'm also a Hulkamaniac. My word is my bond.
Yeah, that's the second time you've referenced that tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, Ashley did seem like he was drunk. He wasn't having it. Josh was trying to defend Amanda's honor, which him and Amanda weren't really getting into.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, they were, but it wasn't physical or anything.
But Ashley was coming after Amanda. Because Amanda was trying to, Amanda was taking Nani's olive branch for Jenna and trying to reconcile and say all this stuff. And Ashley thought that Amanda's sole purpose for doing that was just to
go against the UK
to divert everyone's attention from her onto the UK alliance. And so he came after Amanda for that. He started yelling at her, calling her stuff, trying to call her out, and she's like, no, that's not what I was doing.
I will say he did I did forget about he thought she was coming after the UK. I don't think he was like this was not a fight until Josh got him. Like we've been watching this show for years. Like that is very tame what was happening, especially after a night out.
He was not going to physically fight her. Nobody thought that.
I don't even remember him yelling.
He was being extremely disrespectful.
I'll give you that.
Because, like, I really, really liked Ashley up until this point, and I'm not saying I'm this big Amanda fan. I did not like the way that he spoke to her in a very hostile way.
Hannah speaking for the women here. I like it.
I mean, like, I don't care how drunk or not drunk you are. You don't talk to people like that. And so, yes, he was coming after her. You can't take that away. That's why Josh got involved. He tried to calm the environment. He tried to talk to Ashley in a very calm demeanor and try to settle him down and explain to him, hey, Amanda is still a lady. At the end of the day, she's still a woman, and you still need to respect her and talk to her that way.
I'm a big fan of this version of Hannah because it makes me think of Mama Kim. But I love Mama Kim.
Well,
Who's not dead? Who's not
dead? God rest her soul.
I've been talked to. I've just been talked to and disrespected that way so many times in the past.
Not by anyone in this room, right?
No.
Not exactly the same way. But
Okay.
if anybody even tries to cross the line talking to me in any kind of way, I'm going to shut it down and I'm going to call you out on it, and you're not going to get away with it.
As you should, Han. I think
I don't take crap from anybody.
Well, certainly not us two here. But did we overlook the fact that, at least based off the editing and based off even her confessional little interview time here, Kara's creeping again.
I didn't even see her.
Yeah, because they were talking about Kara at one point, Jenna and Amanda.
In the bar.
I
think that was editing.
This was...
Yeah.
But even Kara during her confessional was talking about how, like, Amanda was talking about her.
Yeah.
And called her Satan again.
That is such a bananas move. Like, again, we've talked about, like, a bananas is very important to the show. I think we would all like him. That's his move, is calling people by his nicknames for them. Like, I mean, he was the one at the beginning of the season that was, like, holding the hanger cross up to Amanda. But, yeah, just... I think
she's creeping again, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it was more editing in the bar, at least. Because we never saw how close they were to each other, but...
And you know what? We got even more proof, I believe last week maybe, she's even doing it in real life, just waiting for somebody to say something.
Oh, I will probably get in trouble for this. I think she doesn't wait. I think she just immediately tries to play the victim on everything that happens in the whole world.
God, we're terrible people.
No.
I didn't say anything.
We're pretty bad.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
We're like that. We go to see local wrestling sometimes in this little town called Trenton.
Who does?
Well, you've been before.
No,
not there. No.
I don't even know. I don't
never
know where that town is.
Well, I don't think this particular night we were in Trenton.
So great segue.
But hold on. But so we are the bad guy wrestler that everybody hates. I don't even want to call it a heel because heels are enjoyable. But we're that one wrestler like everybody hates, like that jobber. We're the jobber. Yeah. All right. And
What's
that?
From my knowledge, it's basically someone who they pay to just go in and
they're enhancement talent. They go in to make someone else look good.
They act like a jerk and then they get beat up.
Yeah. So we are that wrestler, and then Kara is that old lady that was there that night that is out in the crowd screaming at the guy, "You're bad! You're bad!"
Exactly those words.
This analogy is going to be so lost on anyone other than me who was there.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's her new...
My point is, like, she's just ready all the time to say something.
Yeah, her new move is to, like, try to get out in front of any sort of bad stuff.
My analogy just made sense. She's ready to say something at any point in time on stuff and people, I don't want to say people, on stuff that doesn't even matter, that's not relevant. Hence, a jobber. Doesn't matter.
You called us the jobbers.
Do we matter?
Your analogy's falling apart.
I don't
Lord.
know. I'm not following this.
I get where I'm going.
Great.
Well, I don't.
Anyway, Ashley and Josh, they get into it. Josh's shirt comes off at some point. During this whole thing, I was like, even drunk Ashley, I was like, he is not someone I would want to mess with.
He's still a unit.
He took Josh's shoes, trainers as he called them,
Don't touch a man's J's.
and threw it out there, and that's when Josh lost it.
That's when Josh started crying.
That's when production pulled him away. And my favorite moment of the episode, I rewound it so you guys could see it, was Josh is talking to producer.
He's yelling. He's like, I worked hard for everything.
Yeah.
For everything I have. Every clothes, everything. Every food.
The producer guy is talking to him, and then he like turns and catches that the camera's right beside it and kind of looks at it real quick and then cuts away because he doesn't want to stare right in the camera. But it definitely, like, that's Josh crying probably the number 2 or 3 of the episode, and there's more to come. Like, he's a very emotional man.
I do want to say, I don't want anybody to think that Josh got punked by any means. I totally understand mad crying.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad for him to. He is an emotional guy.
But I can just see someone watching that tonight being like, "What a baby."
Yeah.
Right? Like, there is such a thing where you get so mad you can't help but to cry.
Is it?
Yes. I have been I have been prone to mad cry when I'm so mad.
You mad a lot of things.
I do. One of my greatest regrets over the past week was downloading Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the remastered version.
A game we hadn't played in like 10 years, and then he gets on one night, and then he's like, let's play. He's like, I'm back in. I'm addicted. It's just like it was. I love it. And we played for like an hour, and he's like, this is the worst game in the world. So you left me. Like,
I did. I just turned my PlayStation.
You just turned it off, and you're like, I'm not playing this. And then I ended up winning that game, and you just left. Like, you were gone. Yeah. And I was like,
I had enough.
I was like, it took one night for him to turn it all around.
You're not gonna play these games on me, Infinity Ward. You're not doing
Jake,
that.
it's a game we had not played in 10 years.
And they still get it wrong. They've still gotten it remastered, and they still get it wrong. If I shoot a guy in the head, he should die.
That quote needs to be pulled out of context.
Okay. Yeah, if I don't need to. If I shoot a guy in Call of Duty in the head, sniper,
that just needs to be it. That's the end.
That's it. Game over.
You're getting frustrated.
I'm mad thinking about it.
So this is where I'm assuming our episode title is going to come from, is where Josh is crying in production, and I don't mean that in like it's what he's doing, but he just says, how much can a guy take? And I was like, that's kind of part of the challenge. I mean, we haven't watched Big Brother, so I don't know how intense it gets.
I don't know how much Josh has taken for this whole season. It seems like just this one blow up, and that's it.
No, most of it's been from Amanda.
Yeah.
If anything, but yeah, other than that, I don't really remember him like fighting with anyone. So we get into the killing floor.
I need to know who dressed Bear for this.
It looked almost like he was wearing Kara's bear hat thing that she always wore.
No, it had a symbol.
Yeah,
in
it had
the
like a
middle.
Russian insignia.
And Kara, she wears like the animal, it's made to make her look like the animal, and it's got like the long drawstring with the mittens in it. His was just a hat, and it looked like something you would get from like Soviet Russia.
Yeah, it looked like a Russian like snow general. I don't think that's a thing, but yeah.
Jake, look up a Russian snow general.
Good luck with that one. So yeah, they get in the killing floor. At this point, we don't know the title yet. They go through the voting. It turns out it's Josh and Amanda. Wes and Dee kind of swung their vote in a different direction. And so I was on the fence. I thought maybe Jenna was going to reconcile and say, it makes more sense to go after someone else, but she went after her initial pick, and so Wes and Dee backed them up, and that's who went in.
Well, Davon, she was, I think, supposed to vote for Josh and Amanda. So Bear originally, he was first vote. Obviously, Pauly, everybody knew that. And then Davon just out of nowhere said Cam and Ashley, and Bear was shocked.
I forgot about it.
He was taken aback, and he
like,
said,
"You didn't tell me."
Yeah, he couldn't believe she said that because she's supposed to be good friends with both of them.
Well, and that wasn't even their vote. Like, I get that. I guess she's got a better. I don't know if she was on the Big Brother season with Josh. I don't think she was, but maybe she's closer with Josh in real life than she is with Cam and Ashley. But it was a surprise move, and so when that happened, I was like, maybe things are going to get weird. It really didn't, other than Wes and Dee switched their vote.
Yeah. Well, Cam was mad.
Her and Ashley were like, again, people, we haven't seen Ashley do much yet. Obviously, he's gigantic, but Cam, like we've seen, she wins eliminations.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Davon was the only one to vote for them.
Yeah, but because it came down to Josh and Amanda, they're like, oh, we're gonna make a big move. So I thought that could be Pauly and Natalie, because that's obviously the team that's been killing in dailies, and they haven't done an elimination yet. But they went after Ashley and Cam because of the fight probably the night before. And so we get into what it's called uphill battle. I don't think we've ever seen an elimination like this, that I remember at least. Basically, they have what's that bar called? I can't even think right now. Just the bar. It's like what you when you're doing like
a bar
bench press. Like, doesn't it have a name to it?
I just referred to it as the bar.
Okay. Well, we didn't really understand why they're showing all this like slow motion of Turbo, like throwing one and catching it. It makes sense now because that's
I want to try now.
Yeah, a lot of core strength.
Yeah.
Because they're 45 pounds each. If you don't know that, and so it's like a slight V-shaped thing. It tapers up to where it gets bigger the higher you get, but it's just whoever gets to the top first wins. Except that there was some ADR, which is additional dialogue recording, if you don't know, where they had TJ come back in and reiterate the rules where if someone falls, the other team doesn't have a time limit. They just have to get past where the other team fell from. And so when we heard that come in from a different, like a sound booth, and they didn't show TJ actually saying it, I was like, they're doing that to clarify why someone's going to win. Which, by the way, I was upset about, because we know from the promos, is again another spoiler from the promo, we see an elimination where Cam is being spun around and throws up. Like, we knew that's coming because it was in all of the promos for War of the Worlds, and obviously this wasn't it. So I knew before this elimination even started that Cam and Ashley were going to win, even though I thought they would just physically. But I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they show eliminations beforehand.
Maybe just going forward, just use maybe the first episode and a half.
Or don't show something that's clearly from an elimination.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a team that's going to be going into multiple eliminations, because at that point you already know. If they've only gone in one elimination, use a clip from it. Fine. But it kind of ruins it whenever I was like, oh, well, they haven't done the one where Cam spins upside down and throws up. Like, that was one of the big scenes from the promo. So, again, that kind of ruined it for me. But they get into it. I will say Ashley and Cam struggled. And Josh and Amanda did way better than I thought they would right off the bat.
They almost finished.
They did, but they got to the point where Josh kind of lost it. And when he did, they slid down. And then Cam and Ashley have an untimed amount to do it. So they just said, we're going to take our time. They kind of went back to back, which made sense. Pushing their, like...
They pulled the old Emperor's New Groove move.
Yeah.
They did, and they did it well.
Yeah, like Josh and Amanda, Josh was trying to straddle as far across as he could and walk it up, but once he got to the higher part where it was really far apart, he couldn't do that anymore. And so Cam and Ashley just took their time. They get all the way up. Again, I knew it was coming. We
got a great quote from Turbo, who was so disappointed. He
was sad.
He literally said the words about Josh, why you not concentration?
And I think he said, why you so stupid?
No, he said, oh my Josh, how you are stupid.
Oh my Josh is a good episode title too.
But why you not concentration?
Yeah, he did say that. Again, I love Turbo.
He's so amazing.
I think he's clearly becoming a lot of people's fan favorites. But yeah, whenever he talks about Josh, he said that, and then Amanda and them are leaving, he's like, a lot of people don't like Amanda. He said, no one love her, but I love her. And then he kind of laughs. And
yeah, he's so pure and so great. And like after he and Nani finished the daily challenge, because Nani started getting very frustrated towards the end.
She's scared.
And
like legitimately.
And he what shocked me about that was the fact that he was the one blindfolded and he was leading her. He was telling her, he was like, just come on, we're almost done. And they finished, and she was just real shaky and not ready to talk. And he looked at her and he said, are you proud of me?
Well, before that, he was like really down on himself that he was like, we didn't go fast enough or whatever. She's like, no, we did great. And then he said, are you proud of me? Like,
and she had to say, yes, I'm always proud of you.
He legitimately seems like a very, very sweet guy. I would love to interview him somehow. I don't know how that would work because I think we use a kind of complicated program. Not really, but and also he's in Turkey more than likely, and so it would just be hard. But I would love to sit down and talk with him one day. He seems like a really great person.
I think more of these American men and UK men need to take some notes from Turbo because his whole country, their culture is honoring the women.
He does everything he does for his mom.
Ashley should sit down with him.
That's
hopefully
great.
In the future.
It's a great way to,
I thought you were just mad. That's great. Well, let's.
No, that's a great way to approach women. Is would I treat my mom this way?
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Would you tell your mom, why would I be giving all these girls this whatever?
Absolutely not. Nope.
It's
Hey, let me ask you this though.
Okay.
Do you think if Amanda would have reciprocated, they'd have won or not?
That's
a little.
I don't know. He went in for a kiss after they lost.
Hey, she faked him out. She kind of went in too, and they were like, I gotcha.
I'm just saying, you never know what.
He really thought she was going to do it too.
I think we're both going home.
Because they did. That was a thing on Sports Science, like having sex before.
Oh yeah, they did before like boxing or something, right?
Yeah, before like an event or like a sporting event.
Because some fighters will say I'll never do it and then other ones will say I have to.
Yeah,
and I remember watching that now.
It's a thing. Like they could have won.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know.
But Cam wins again.
Yeah.
Which brings her elimination record to 7-1, not including the Brooke Hogan elimination.
That doesn't count. Champs versus Stars, the charity challenges don't count.
Right.
If they do, then Wes is at 19 elimination wins,
which would put Cam at 7-2.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, Cam. She's tough, like, and she's smart, and she's a big girl. Like, she's not like, I'm not saying she's like overweight or anything. She is just like, she's built genetically very well, and like to intimidate people and to do well at physical things.
Do you remember her one elimination?
Last year?
It was last season.
It was, it was with Kaylee, obviously.
It
but,
was.
They're the ones who sent Polly and them into Redemption the first time. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Cara and Marie put them out for good.
What was it? Which one was it?
It's called That's the Ticket. Don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one
either.
Yeah, again, Cara's got a good elimination record too. So, but I mean, Cam, this is their third season, and she's racking up elimination wins.
Actually, Cara and Marie put them into Redemption House, which the way the Redemption House worked, you could just go home.
Gotcha.
Off a weird thing. So yeah.
Yeah. So that we saw a little preview for next week. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's something about Bear talking to his girlfriend that he swore he didn't have, and then Georgia gets upset. So we'll see what happens next week. But yeah, let's get into superlatives for the night. Let's do who got their head smashed first. Who wants to go?
Josh got his head smashed by Amanda on multiple occasions this episode.
That was literally going to be mine because it got smashed because he kept doing like, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, it was like
worked.
he tried to be very easygoing about it, like it didn't bother him, but deep down, especially like women, we can tell when it hurts a little bit. and you try to mask it. It was real obvious.
He wears his heart on his sleeve. I'll give him that. And he was my pick as well. I mean, also they lost elimination too. But
is that our first universal?
Unanimous?
Yeah.
Was that yours?
the word. Yeah.
Yours?
Universal.
What an idiot.
What is this, Universal Soldier? Where's
I
John?
thought you were
where's
going to say
Jean-Claude at?
studios.
I was going to say studios
Where's
too.
Jean-Claude Van Damme at? Bill Goldberg too.
Okay.
Were
you going to say Head Smash Josh
Yeah.
by Amanda saying no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't talk about these. It's the first unanimous of the season. It is what it is. So who smashed some heads?
Bear, when he would not let Davon have her way in not nominating Polly.
Yes, and I will say I think he was making the right move, and I think
I absolutely believe
I think
it.
they all should have gone
But
after Polly.
he drove her to tears.
Oh yeah, for sure. What's yours?
Bear.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, for that reason.
You keep smashing my head because I enjoy him on my
He's
your
funny.
television.
Yes, my television.
He's not on your TV.
Not.
My pick is different. It's not unanimous. So I picked Gus and Jenna because this is the first.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is the first like livelihood we've seen from them where they did very well. They made a tribunal, and honestly, the team they nominated went home.
That mouth action finally paid off.
All that the
Yeah.
mouth stuff that he does.
Which his lip is looking a lot better.
You still can tell where that tooth went
Yeah,
through.
I noticed it in his confessional. A little spot, and that's what made me think about it.
Jake's trying to whisper in the mic.
You're not doing well because you're laughing.
The only other thing I was going to say is I don't know if it's because of the tooth or what, but in the tribunal, yeah, he was you knew it.
Some more mouth action. It's
Immediately,
weird.
yeah. He was like
weird,
cocking.
crooked mouth action.
He would like swing his jaw down and to the right, and he was yelling like this, and it was real weird. And I didn't know. I was like, maybe that's from the hit, but maybe that's just how he gets when he's angry. So, what were you going to whisper to me?
I was just going to say, we know what Hannah's been watching.
Great.
What?
So, you gonna make it? Are you ready to move on now? All right, we're done with the challenge part of it. So
Give him a minute.
let's get into.
She's been watching his mouth action.
I said great.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I get it. So let's do high school album of the week. Who wants to go? I can go first. I don't care.
Somebody needs
I'll
to
go. I'll go first. It's a band that I've been listening to way before high school, but I listened to them all throughout. Still listen to them to this day.
MXPX.
No, but I mean, it led me to this band, which was Newfound Glory, the album Catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You've
that's a
already
good
done
one.
that one.
I haven't done that one. I don't think so.
You don't write yours down.
I write them down every week.
You had to start doing that.
After like the first 4 weeks, I did, but I write them every week, so I know because we're gonna run out and I'm gonna forget. I really don't think I ever did Newfound Glory. I might have, but I think we would have both remembered it because we both liked that album a
I
lot.
like that album. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good album.
it's great. And MXPX from when I was young led me to bands like Newfound Glory, so that's mine. Did you changing your mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jake got a revelation.
Yeah.
The 2002 album "Come Away with Me" by Norah Jones. My mom loved Norah Jones so much, in particular this album.
My sister loved that album.
So much that my mom went out and bought a in-home stereo. It was a huge tower that was like 3.5 feet tall, and it held like 72 CDs, and she would put this one on and then turn it all the way up so that it would fill the whole house with this album. And I had to deal with that for like 6 years straight, and then the stereo finally went out and stopped working, thank God. But then she would put it in her car, and every time I rode in the car with her, I would have to listen to it. And then it was the first album that I put on my iPod when I got an iPod when I was in high school.
I was gonna say these are supposed to be albums you enjoy.
Yeah, no,
It doesn't sound like you enjoyed any of this.
Because I had to listen to it so much as a kid, it became one of those like security blanket things where it, like, when I get super crazy anxious, I can turn it on and it just makes me feel like I'm 6 again. And like I still like every time I hear this album, any song from this album, I immediately picture our house in Memphis. I know the layout like the back of my hand, and I'm standing in the living room looking at the fireplace.
I don't know why Jake thought that was so funny. He literally was covering his mouth so he wouldn't laugh in the mic.
I still listen to the album every now and then. I know every line, every word, every musical melody in every song of the whole thing.
What was your problem?
All right, so I was making sure I had my album right, and then all I heard was it makes me feel like I'm 6 again.
Okay.
What's funny about that?
It wasn't, especially to the point you were making it out to be. All right, so
I wasn't making out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We weren't invited to those parties. What's your album?
Oh man, this is a good one. I'm kind of shocked I hadn't thought of this one by now. Matchbook Romance. Stories and Alibis.
Okay, that's a good one.
That was my pick, and then I changed it to Newfound Glory.
Yeah.
That was literally my pick.
It's one of those, like, I go back and listen, and there's some sloppy elements to it.
Yeah.
But it's still a fun one to listen to.
It had a lot of, if anyone's going to get these references, it had a lot of good, like, MSN Messenger names or, like, AIM away messages.
Yeah, you rocked those better than anyone.
I did love, but you going back and you're like, man, this is not great writing, and, like, it is kind of sloppy, but it's fun to listen to still. I'm not gonna say what was your choice, because obviously that kind of sparked something in your brain when I said Newfound Glory. All right, yeah, the movie year is 2010. I'll go first.
We finally reached the 10s.
Makes me feel like I'm 6 again.
My real pick was gonna be like Toy Story 3, because I love all those movies.
I saw that and thought immediately that would be your pick.
Well, I went with one that it's actually not a movie I like. It's Burlesque with Cher and Christina Aguilera.
Why?
Because that was the first episode of the podcast How Did This Get Made, was about burlesque and they had Nick Kroll on, which was when I was in it was like 10 years ago. And I've listened to every episode since day one. And one of my favorite podcasts, all they do is watch bad movies and have comedians on to talk about them. It's called How Did This Get Made, if you haven't watched it. But Burlesque was the first movie they did on
You're
that show.
supposed to pick a movie that you recommend.
I recommend watching Burlesque and then listening to How Did This Get Made.
That's a real clever tactic there.
Yeah.
You just used.
Yes.
If I had to pick a real one, it probably would be Toy Story 3 or maybe like Inception, because Inception was like really revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
Especially all the like the box, like the hallway spinning, that was all practical. It wasn't CG. Christopher Nolan directed it, so that's mine. Go listen to How Did This Get Made.
Yeah. You want me to go?
I don't care who goes.
Well, we actually watched this movie together.
Really?
I don't know why this movie we would have thought. When you consider the kind of movies we watched back then, I don't know why this movie we would have watched.
So it's not a chick flick, because that's what you normally watch.
It's not a chick flick.
What was it?
Death at a Funeral.
Oh, we did watch that.
We
That's
did.
a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
We watched the American version, not the British version.
Yes.
The American version's good too, but the British one's supposed to be even better.
I think that's the first time I encountered Peter Dinklage.
He was
really?
in it.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart was in it, maybe?
I don't think Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, that may have been what it was. And then
James Marsden.
James Marsden was the other one.
Yeah.
He got like really high on drugs and got naked and was up on the roof.
Yep.
That is a good movie.
It's a really fun
I've
movie.
never seen it all the way through.
It's good. It really is. I'd forgot. I think that's the only time I've ever watched it.
It's really good.
Yeah. So what's yours?
Mine was True Grit.
I
with
saw that.
Josh Brolin, Jeff Bridges, young Haley Steinfeld.
I don't know who that is.
She's that girl that came into Pitch Perfect. Yeah, anyway, she was really, really young in this movie. And then Matt Damon, I think, was the other one.
Is that thing Anna Paquin's in?
I don't remember.
That's
if she's
X-Men.
No.
Regardless, this movie...
This is the thumbnail for Death at a Funeral.
True Grit is like... I forgot that this movie came out in 2010 because I was going to pick Shutter Island. I really enjoyed Inception, but Shutter Island just got to me in another way. It was so good. It was a really good Leonardo DiCaprio year.
That's two humongous movies for Leonardo in one year.
Yeah. Shutter Island was absolutely amazing. And that was my pick until I realized that True Grit was on this list as well. True Grit, it's not typically the type of movie that I would recommend, but I loved this movie so much. I saw it in theaters. I skipped my high school Valentine's dance to go out of town to see this movie with my dad. And he had seen the original and was really excited about this remake.
It's a John
coming
Wayne
out.
movie, I think.
Mm-hmm. He was really excited about them remaking this movie with great actors like Jeff Bridges and Josh Brolin. And so we took a Saturday night to go see it together, and it was a really fun weekend that we spent together. And it was a really good movie. I have such great memories attached to this.
By the way, if you are fact checking, Kevin Hart is in Death at a Funeral.
Also, Anna Paquin is in True Blood.
I didn't say that because it's a TV show.
Not the same.
Not True Grit.
No.
True Blood.
Yeah, she's got a horrible accent in it. So yeah, that's how we're going to wrap up tonight. Again, be watching out for some big news coming very soon. Not going to give a time frame on it, but it'll be sooner rather than later. And again, if you can figure out what they mean, fresh meat, free agents, and bloodlines, and kind of hit us up with what you think it is, and we might let some things slip out. But again, follow us on social media because of like what happened last week with the weird storms and the power outage. The only way we could get the word out on that is through Twitter because Instagram was down at the time.
Yeah, we're not going to call everyone.
No. We might would call one or two of you guys.
Maybe.
I think we'd call Mikey.
Yeah.
And then Statman Paul.
Yeah, we might.
Paul's definitely falling into that.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah.
So, again, we'll be back with you next week. Until then.
Hannah loves fruit ASMR.
What? What just came out of your...
Zach spells his name Zakhx. Have a good night, everyone.
That was your worst ending.
Oh, come on.
Did you say I love fruit ASMR?
Yep.